So you want to know who are the best damage champions in Paladins, huh? Well, you come to the right place. Today, my name is Raynday, and I'm going to guide you through my favorite and what I think are the best damage champions in all of Paladins. We covered supports recently. I don't have a pro joining with me. However, it is going to be a very succinct, very helpful episode, especially if you haven't played Paladins. If you have, you'll already be able to surmise a lot of the stuff that I'm saying here, but you may be interested to see what I have to say about why these champions fit in the positions they fit into this list. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to obviously go crazy. We're going to spank some babies, and we're going to move on and just talk about these. Did I say spank babies? Of course I did. I love babies. Why would I spank them? Now, this list was close, and if you guys want to stay till the end, I'll have a special bonus treat of some honorable mentions that almost made the cut, and I'll tell you why they didn't. But first, let's get it started with the number 5 best damage champion in all of Paladins, Cassie. To me, Cassie represents all that is good in the world. Pure, simple, just wants to live her life out in the farm somewhere, hunt a bald eagle for crying out loud. What else can a girl want? Alright, so maybe you're not hunting bald eagles all the time when you're playing Cassie, but you are fitting into a ton of compositions, and that's one of the best parts about why she makes this list, her flexibility. She's got 4 viable talents that can be used on different maps, different situations, and against different compositions, and she also is a great flex for anybody who's wanting to main a tank, but then also have a damage option if you're maybe have a slot open and you need to fill a triple DPS role. If you have been playing Paladins over the last 2 years, then you probably have a pocket Cassie. Most of our pros do, and she's a common triple DPS flex if they have to put one of the main tanks onto a damage to supplement the type of composition they're going for. You'll see guys like Tolki, maybe even Dosips on a good day from G2 and Envy respectively, find their way onto champions like Cassie because they just provide a very simple, effective role of damage, flexibility, mid-range pressure, as well as that ultimate team-wide reveal. Is Cassie the most game-changing champion in the world? Are you like, oh god, they got Cassie, how do we win this game? No, but she's still a very good champion, and she's always going to be consistent in what she does, and for a damage class, that's very, very strong. She has no weaknesses, she's the jack of all trades, master of none, and for that, Cassie goes number 5 in the list of the best damage champions in Paladins. Moving on to number 4. Lian. I love Lian, but I've got to put this on the table. Who the hell is Neil, and why is she so mad at him? Lian boy drama aside, I'm sure you guys aren't surprised to see her in this list. Lian is a champion that we've seen a lot of variations from the precision Lian of old, and of course into the death and taxes Lian of current. We saw a little bit of alacrity, but that never stood as much. The reason Lian takes the number 4 spot over Cassie is because she brings a lot of the things that Cassie does. A good bit of AoE presence, and also a burst damage option with her presence, but what she really excels at in this meta is the inherent anti-heal of death and taxes. I mean, 90% anti-heal is cool, but can you get it in the first minute of every game you ever play? That's where Lian really brings her value. She has it right at the start, and so no one can really ramp up with your anti-heal at that point. Your team with a Lian with death and taxes is always going to have that frontline advantage as long as she's maintaining shots onto the other opponents, and with 2 of her abilities being auto-aim abilities, I think it's pretty easy to do that. But Papa, I want anti-heal. Shut up, Jimmy. We gave it all to Lian. Now go eat your cupcake and tie my shoe. I don't want to tell you. There's a level of jealousy that arises when someone gets this type of benefit, and Lian obviously takes it on with grace and with a presence that is of a high-born, enlightened queen. She is a sign of Alzyko for a reason, and she is a very, very trustworthy damage source, which is why I rank her just a little bit higher than Cassie. She has burst, she has AoE damage, she's got easy auto-aim abilities to confirm, and notoriously dangerous anti-heal at the beginning of a game and throughout the entire match, giving her flexibility in her credit usage. For me, that's why Lian takes the number 4 spot in Paladins. Moving on to the number 3 best damage champion in all of Paladins, we have Willo. Oh, Willo, the fairy that is having a very good time in Paladins right now and has had a resurgence. It's awesome. We didn't see Willo very often in the earlier part of this year, but Nightshade has made a comeback for the fairy, and she has looked so good in the process. Not that I'm into fairies, but I gotta say, it's undeniable how successful she has been when returning into the realm. Although Willo was a pretty notorious pub stomper for a long time in Paladins, no one can deny that Nightshade has really been the driving factor in bringing her back into the meta and allowing her to grab this 3rd spot spot in the list. When it comes to damage, burst is king, but anti-heal and burst, that's just a newfound empire. That's a dynasty. There's no usurping that. Willow's Nightshade not only provides the best anti-heal possible, which is at 90%, it's not 95, it's 0 healing. It's no scaling at all. There is no healing, and it lingers the same way a Cauterize would linger. So she beats everybody in that category, but it's 800 burst now into anybody that gets hit by it. It's super easy to confirm and allows her to be deadly from range or up close onto tanks or onto flanks. And it's not just the fact that Nightshade is that good. It's the fact that Nightshade is that good and it's really easy to use, as well as the fact that she's got vertical mobility that she can take advantage of to snowball fights. Willow has a card called Just Believe, as well as a lot of other champions that are really good at snowballing and continuing their process of doing damage, that allows her to get eliminations and then get cooldown reduction based on those eliminations. So she could dead zone somebody and then find herself reducing the cooldown of dead zone after she gets a kill with it by 6-7 seconds. Gets another kill and all of a sudden the dead zone's back and she finds another kill with that dead zone and starts the process over again. She's extremely dangerous, and when she gets up into the air for the Fae Flight, most people just have to run. I mean, you look at the value of Inara, Willow, and Lian right now, and it's Inara with the damage reduction because she can just sustain so much damage, but also the fact that Willow and Lian are the two highest anti-heal champions innately in all of Paladins. They have the ability to do things that other champions can't do, with one of the most, if not the most important stat in the game, which is healing and sustain. She's pretty tanky as well, with a 250 health card potential, as well as damage reduction by 25% if you take Sprite Fly 5. All of these things make Willow that much harder to kill, and when she's doing that much burst damage to you, tilt the fight's always in her favor. One of the only things that Willow really struggles with is her in-hand pressure. She has to be above champions to really make use of it. Hitting champions mid-air really is where Willow struggles. Although I've seen some nice dead zone kills and some beautiful shots with the Fae Wand, it's just not often and it's not really reliable. She has to get into a good spot, and if she's not in that spot, she loses a lot of efficacy, which is why she can't necessarily control her fate and is not in the top 2 here of the best damage champions. So with that being said, it's time to move on to the number 2 best damage champion in all of Paladins, Bomb King. Not only does Bomb King have better in-hands than Willow, and obviously they do more damage, almost double the damage with 900 a pop. That's before Luminary or Firing Line or Tyra Hunter's Mark amps, if you will, but it's also the fact that he can control the detonation. That means he can deal damage to champions who are in the air and he doesn't have to be above them. Bomb King is essentially a math problem. He just runs at you and he gets up in your face and you just can't kill him before he kills you. He's tanky with King's New Club 5, and he's got great mobility and the ability to get some movement speed after finding some kills with Shock and Awe 4. I also love the ability for Bomb King to just rotate onto the objective, throw a Grumpy Bomb, and start doing something else and know that no one is going to be standing on the point, because if you get hit by that stun, you are going to die. Bomb King, like other champions that are in our top 3, make people play around them. You cannot stand near a Seedling if you want to live. You cannot stand near a Grumpy Bomb if you want to live. You cannot stand near a we're not there yet, so I'll wait till we get to number 1. And you can tell that this is what makes him valuable. I mean, if you don't believe me, this entire season of the PPL, the Fall Split, Bomb King was banned, and new metas, new rosters, everything changed. Because the fact is, if Bomb King was available, people would just be banning or picking him. He is a staple in high-level competitive play for a reason, and it's just the ability to counter almost anybody that shows up in Paladins and not have any fear in taking 1v1s or contributing to a point fight when it matters most. Bomb King takes the second spot in the list of best damage champions in Paladins because he's got a better talent library with 3 to maybe even 4 viable talents that you can use in high-level play, as well as better in-hands than Willow, as well as the same type of AoE pressure and control that blasters provide in this game. However, in my opinion, he can't beat out number 1. In fact, I don't think anyone will ever be able to beat out number 1. Mr. One Punch Man himself, the number 1 best damage dealer in Paladins, maybe forever, Drogoz. It's a hard thing to beat. Drogoz makes people play around him. When you hear the Dragon Punch winding up, you have to get out of the way or you have to use your ultimate. He forces the game to pay attention to him. He's like a guy or a girl who walks into the room and they just command everyone's attention. Maybe they're tall, maybe they're just beautiful, maybe they're ripped out of their mind, or maybe they're wearing absolutely something just outrageous, but everyone looks. That's what Drogoz is in Paladins, and I don't see that changing ever. A mechanic like an instant KO is always something that's going to be valuable because a 5v4 in this game should always go to a competent 5-man team. However, there are going to be moments where Drogoz doesn't have his ultimate, but what value does he bring then? How does he compete against Willo, Lian, Cassie, and BK? Well, he does everything they do, maybe just a little better. Within hands that are a little bit less than Bomb Kings as far as damage, they still provide the range and the lack of fall off that make him deadly up close and from afar. But what really sets Drogoz apart is his AoE pressure and anti-heal combined with Follow the Scent and Combustible. 1300 damage in the air, on the ground, in the snow, on the mound, in the car, in the pound. I could rhyme all day. Literally anywhere he wants to, he can do a 1300 damage bubble and absolutely annihilate anybody. Also get information because they're ticking damage numbers and he can see them behind walls, and also just reset it to be able to do it one more time with masterful 4 or 5. He throws you halfway across the map, hits you for half your health, and also makes sure you can't heal up afterwards. I mean, what a guy. He's got 3 viable talents in Wormjet's Fusillade and Combustible, but the playstyle right now that has been most effective is that huge AoE Fire Spit. But it doesn't mean that that's it. Drogoz brings the master of all trades conversation into the realm, and also maybe just shows that there are weaknesses, but those weaknesses aren't nearly enough to usurp him from the top. The king is the king, and I may be his jester, but not Drogoz. He's number 1, baby. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you like the list? Do you agree? If not, what would you change and why? Love hearing your thoughts, and everyone usually gives a pretty cool opinion. It's always fun down below. Oh, and we are about to go into the honorable mentions, my friends. But before we do, I just wanted to say this video could be sponsored by Amazon. It's not. I'm just sponsored by Amazon all the time, but I'm just saying you could sponsor it if you want to go to audibletrial.com/Raynday and sign up for a free audiobook. You know, that book you didn't want to read for class. You know, that book you got to read for a paper. That book you just been wanting to read but don't have time to read because you're just sitting in traffic all day. Go ahead and download it. Listen to it. I've done this for 3 to 4 years. It is a life changer, and I never have stopped since. Go ahead and check it out, audibletrial.com/Raynday, and support me by signing up. It's free. Go ahead and do it. All right, now let's take a look at these honorable mentions. Of course, my first one, who you all might have thought was in this list or not, I mentioned on my Twitter, Dredge. Now, I think Dredge is actually a really good damage champion and obviously controls space maybe better than all the champions that I mentioned. I mean, Combustible is cool, but Broadside, whoo, Scuttle, whoo. However, I do think that Dredge is in a different spot, and he doesn't bring the same level of innate anti-heal. He doesn't bring the same level of mobility that these champions do, and obviously his ultimate is lackluster at best. I find it very hard to hit the Kraken, so for me, he couldn't quite bust the list, especially since Cassie and Lian, I think, really deserve those 5 and 4 spots. Now, I actually want to throw out something here. Vivian was an honorable mention for me. I really like Vivian. You guys have seen some gameplay. I went 25-0 on her. I've seen a lot of great utility uses and 5th picks for her in ranked and also in the pro level play. She just brings so much damage, and although lacks the flexibility, brings great vision, great control, and that ultimate, oh man, can really decimate a tank. I like her in one of the honorable mention spots here. Last but not least, I know y'all want me to say Tyra. I know people are out there just like, Raynday, say Tyra, please, please, please. But honestly, I'm going to say Shaolin. I'm really interested in Shaolin's rise. I think he's going to be an impact player at Worlds, and if not, I think he's just a great damage option that people have forgotten a little bit about in the high level lately. He brings great DPS with recurve. He's got good flexibility, and just because he lost the 2 seconds on his Desert Withdrawal talent doesn't mean that it doesn't still do a good job of bursting and also misdirecting where Shaolin is. The ult change probably put him down a peg as far as where he was at the high level, but I think Shaolin's will consistently still be top damage in their games and also be really good carries when it comes to snowballing fights and providing consistent pressure on the front lines. That's it for me, fam. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think about it all in the comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to stay tuned for more Raynday Gaming. As always, my friends, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.